Hey friend, hope you're doing well. Just clearing the energies right now for you. Just feel that relax through your shoulders, down your neck, down your spine. And just release it all into the earth, into the ground. And know you are safe and supported. All right, Pisces, we're going to jump straight into it. Let's see what's going on. Sun, moon, and rising will be the most dominant here, but it is for any Pisces placement. Only take what resonates. All right, I'm going to take that off. I feel a bit strangled. All right, let's see what the main energies are that you need to be aware of, and then we'll dive in a little further. Thank you, Spirit. What do we currently need to know about this situation? Give us some guidance here. Thank you. You've got the Sun. Okay. Well, that's wonderful. That's a nice way to start the reading, isn't it? So the Sun energy is showing up. So there's something that's expanding here. I know we do have Jupiter Cazimi, where the Sun and Jupiter are meeting, and that's around the full moon as well, in Aquarius. So we've got a pretty significant week ahead. What do we need to know about the Sun? Thank you. Okay, so I feel like some things are going to come to light here, Pisces, for you, okay? With the Page of Swords showing up, the Page of Swords is, I think someone here who maybe, like I said, connecting, wanting to understand something, or someone may share something with you. I take it, look, when you have the Sun, it's a positive energy. I think there's just something else about getting more curious about or looking more into to open up your horizons or to expand something that you're wanting to achieve right now, okay? So this is about expansion, but there seems to be like there's more insight or more work that needs to be done here or to be aware of. But again, it's a very positive energy, whatever this is. I think there's just a progress of things or a work in progress of something at the moment. What's influencing this that we need to be aware of? Thank you, Spirit. What do we need to be aware of here that's influencing this situation? Okay. Five of Swords. I definitely feel like there's something that you're not seeing eye to eye on with someone, or there's been a challenging words or challenging emails or challenging, messages of some kind here, because this is a lot, usually a bit more about online activity or the way of engaging. There does seem to be something uncomfortable here, but I feel like you're going to get to the bottom of it, whatever this is. Again, that's positive for you here, Pisces. Past impacting, the Devil. So this could be work-related, Capricorn energy. This could also be related to someone's behavior, unhealthy behavior. I think you've seen this before, you witnessed this before, and perhaps you're feeling a little bit stuck in a situation, dealing with, again, some way that someone's communicating. Maybe there's someone here that's just a little bit full on or too much, but I think you know how to handle this even in the uncomfortableness of it all. Let's have a look at the headspace and what we should be aware of here. Yeah, you got someone here that's just, yeah, this is a heavy energy, whoever this is representing or whatever situation this is representing. And I do feel that you feel a little bit stuck, okay? But you're going to get through this and push through this. Let's unpack more, because in the headspace, you've got the Nine of Pentacles. So again, this is a lot about your freedom, your own successes, your own freedom, your own independence, and being able to create what you need to create. For some of you, you could be going on your own around something here right now, or definitely consider, how do I get to this next phase? How do I let go of this energy and really open up and awaken my, my skills, my talent, my own joy, my own happiness, knowing, what you're capable of, you can produce. And I think that's what you're potentially navigating right now, and trying to get away from this Devil energy. Like I said, you've seen this before, experienced this before, or witnessed this before. So I don't know with this pattern if it's not necessarily you, the pattern, but you find yourself in a similar pattern around maybe certain people's behavior or their approach towards you. And I think you acknowledge now, no, I'm not going to engage this way. And I think the way that you're going to handle it is a quite strong, independent person that maybe this person may be not used to you a certain way because you've maybe a little bit shrunk yourself to keep a bit of peace. And, you know, I don't think you're doing it in a way that you want to. I think it's just, it helps you keep things at bay without becoming more conflicting or confronting or challenging. Near future, what do we need to know? Near future, what do we need to know? Okay. Strength energy and temperance. So I feel like this is asking you to maintain your control in whatever that you're doing right now. I think there is something that wants to work out here for you, Pisces, even though, like I said, this could be challenging. I am seeing with this sun here that whatever needs to come to light, whatever needs to heal, whatever needs to expand will. But I also feel right now there's a couple of things in motion with the strength energy and temperance energy, which is responding, not reacting, number one, to situations, but acknowledging there's a time and a period where things need to come together to move forward in the way that you actually want when it comes to this Nine of Pentacles representing, you know, like I said, your independence, your strength, your success, you know, what brings you that joy and prosperity into your life. I also feel too, in this poised energy, in this strong energy, in this controlled energy of, you know, you paying attention to what's going on around you, you know, people not potentially knowing your next move. They just know that you're there, that you're present. And I think, you know, in some way you are being looked at. How are you going to respond? How are you going to react? I feel like there's a little bit of eyes on you at the moment is what I'm seeing. But amongst that, I do feel like there's something opening up, but I also want to ask you, is there something else that you can be doing to serve this part of you that you currently need or that's on your mind? But I do feel a bit of held back energy in a way of just really monitoring your environment, really monitoring, you know, certain circumstances in a way that's going to put you in a strong position, because sometimes it's, what's like that, the rabbit in the hare. Sometimes slow and steady wins the race, you know. I think sometimes too, if there are people here that just like to, you know, shoot information, think they're right, you know, whatever they look at, they just create their own story and that's just their narrative. But sometimes people don't look at the whole situation. And I feel like you've just got a better understanding of what's really going on. But I feel like you're part of the... it just feels like you're a bit chosen at the moment with this type of energy. And what I mean by that is not targeted, so to speak, but I feel like whatever's coming at you, you're in the eye of someone and they're not willing to let it go. I don't know what their problem is, but it just feels like someone is attached to you or hooked into you at the moment. And I can see, like I said, you're trying to break free. I can see you that you're, you know, holding back in ways to not be confrontational, to remain open and curious. But it's also like, come on, are we really doing this? Am I really in this situation again? Because I think you've been, like I said, you've been here before, not necessarily with this person, perhaps, or this situation, but it's familiar to you. Let's have a look at your power in this situation. The Eight of Cups. So walking away. Acknowledging what's missing, you know. What else do we need to know about this Eight of Cups? Yeah. And it's time to be honest with yourself. And I just had the coldest chills, actually. So walking away and being honest with yourself and being clear upon that, I think is going to be a very important move for you. Even though it may not be something that you want to do, even though you may feel like, you know, financially or in some way feeling a bit stuck, I feel this breaking free. You know, when we have the Ace of Swords, I've got like Archangel Michael here, you know, cutting the layers, cutting the air, cutting the cord, whatever needs to kind of be cut to open up space and to see and to acknowledge this is my truth, whatever this is. And you know that there's something here that you need to walk away from, because when you walk away, you're opening that gap for that next cup to come through, okay? So I feel like you're going through a bit of a completion, especially with the Nine of Pentacles here, the Eight of Cups, and the Ace of Swords. I feel like there's this momentum of number 9, which is completion. And 9 again, 9 of Wands, you know? So this is sitting in the space of what's going on around you. So whoever's challenging you right now, whatever's coming at you right now, this is like, I feel a point in time not to quit. It's to hold your ground, hold your space, hold your energy. I know it's exhausting in some aspect, but I feel like you're so strong and so resilient, okay? And you know that timing is a factor. You also know if you can take it day by day, hour by hour, whatever you need to do, you will get to where you need to go in terms of the outcome that you're thinking about, okay? Hopes and fears here. Yeah, I feel like it's interesting. There's the hopes and fears as I was shuffling. There's like this. It's like I felt someone bursting into tears, but a sense of relief. A sense of relief of something new opening, something new coming in. And I feel like you've been, and this could be part of the devil energy as well, is that you've been holding such space to keep, like I said, to keep the peace or just to keep going. And, you know, knowing that this will move through. But there's also, again, like I said, freedom and release. It's like, I don't have to hold on to this anymore. And I am going to get that new opportunity, that new beginning, that truth that I'm seeking. Again, the Eight of Cups, the Ace of Cups, to get to that Nine of Cups energy. In terms of the outcome, Four of Cups, the Tower. I think someone's going to be pretty surprised here with you, Pisces. The Four of Cups with the Tower. Please clarify the Tower here. Clarify the Tower. The Hanged Man. Yeah, this is interesting. I don't think someone's expecting you to operate a certain way. I think you're coming into a phase of, not that you don't care, but you don't have any energy to give towards this situation anymore. I feel like you're looking at, again, making the moves that you need to make and being calculated in a way that's in your best interest, you know. And what I mean calculated is being aware of your environment, knowing when you need to hold, knowing when you need to stay still, knowing when you need to accelerate, knowing when you need to, like I said, hold your ground, stay resilient, stay strong, but also knowing when to walk away. And I feel like there's something here that yeah, this Hangman's energy is interesting. Yeah, it's kind of like you're not going to ruffle my feathers, but there's also this part of little bit of fear that you're going to fall. Like, can this space really hold you and hold you tight and hold you strong? What else do I need to know about this Hanged Man energy? I think someone's expecting you to take something and you're just not interested in it. Yeah. Whatever this is about, it's either got to do with your finances or the way that you're being treated or acknowledged or valued in something. And I think someone is surprised that you're willing to just not participate anymore. I think that you're being held back. I think you're not giving a lot away and you're taking more a spiritual internal route in terms of this situation and dynamic. I just feel like you're around someone that gives you a bit of a headache when they talk. It's really interesting. When I come back here, I've got like a sore head of having to listen to something or deal with a certain behavior. I just feel like someone's a bit full on in some aspect here. And maybe they're just not expecting you to respond the way that you are. But I can see here that you're changing the game. If things have been challenging, if you have been feeling unworthy, if you haven't felt valued where you are, that's coming to an end. I think there's some surprising element here that's popping up in, and maybe too you feel like something is not coming towards you that you've been hoping for relating to this Nine of Pentacles energy. But I do feel ultimately that you're not going to miss out here. What is meant for you is going to arrive, but you need to kind of, there's this element in between of still something that you've got to work through dealing with someone. But I feel like whatever this is, to start with the sun means you're supported. What needs to open up, what needs to shine, what needs to expand will, and it's done on purpose, in direction of what you actually want and are desiring. Let's get some earth energy, oracle energy cards to see more about this situation and what you need to know in terms of the advice. Thank you, Spirit. Okay, so you've got woman holding a coin. Fourth chakra, Archangel Raphael. You've got the Angel of Strength, which you've got the strength energy, and rest and rejuvenation. Yeah, this is interesting because I feel there's something here about being vulnerable about your position, or being in a place of, self-love to your own worth and to your own place in the world. I feel like that's going to give you and open up a lot as well. When you give to you, when you really focus on those things that you want and stay connected to your heart and your truth, I feel like this is about you here, importantly, but also too that this situation may tire you and people can't see from the outside, but I think it's going to be important, again, the part of holding back, but the part of charging yourself and recharging yourself and taking care of yourself as you need to in the quiet moments or in the moments that you get to yourself. I think that's going to be incredibly important. But I do also know that whatever these challenges that you're experiencing, I really do feel they're going to pass sooner than you think. And opportunities will arise. I feel like you've got something coming towards you, Pisces. Is this what's coming towards Pisces? I feel like you've got something being presented to you. What's being presented to you? What's being presented to Pisces? Angel of Balance. What else do we need to know? Which is telling me like everything's going to work out in the garden and the gate. Yeah. There is a little bit of a waiting game, but I do feel like it's important here to get really clear on what you want and not get too caught up in thought and fantasy of things that you don't want. There's an important distinguishing factor here of the way that you're connecting towards a situation. And I think it's also important not to hold back to the things that you do want. In trusting something here is going to go a certain way. There's like an undercurrent here of, I think you still have hope that something can still work out around this situation, but it's also telling me that you're not meant to be in this situation anymore. Okay. And I don't know, again, the situation, the dynamic, there's something here that you need to remove yourself from or be removed from the situation that's going to help you long term. Okay. It may not be what you want right now, because it has other impacts to your life or to your work or to your home or whatever, but this is it doesn't mean that it's going to fall to shit, but it might just shake things up for a little bit, but it's going to help you regroup to open up and awaken to the thing that you actually do want. Anything else we need to see here? Thank you. Yeah. You got the attachment energy. Yeah. Yeah. Something that's going to happen here, because there's change on the horizon. There's no doubt about this. There is change. But be open to possibilities here and be open to something a little outside the box of potential, because I feel like you could be stuck on something happening a certain way, but I think there could be still, a result, a resolve, an outcome here towards that thing that you want that's going to support you overall. There is a destination or a goal or something that's really important to you here that perhaps you're seeking right now in your life, Pisces. But ultimately, at the end of the day, there is something or someone that you also kind of need. It's time to let go, move on, and recalibrate that. It could be a friend, like I said, it could be work, it could be a certain type of relationship, it could be a certain habit, behavior, circle of people, whatever, maybe the type of work that you're doing, maybe behaviors with money. I mean, there could be a whole unique story for each of you, because this is a general read, but ultimately, you know what you need to do here. And yes, it's going to take courage, but it's also telling you not to give up. So really think about your position, and what step you need to take at this part in this sequence. Make sure you research whatever you need to research, look into whatever you need to look into to have enough information to make informed decisions. But again, stay focused on this goal and this aspiration and this connection of self and independence and strength in becoming a whole of you, because this is a key part. As I said, I feel about your position either at work or around your money or around your stability at home, maybe a position as a parental figure, but also to, make sure that you're feeding that part of your soul. Make sure that you're feeding that part of you that really wants to, remain vulnerable, remain open, remain caring, not shut off because of this other crap that's going on. So yes, there's a lot of compartmentalization that I feel is needed through this shift and change, but ultimately at the end of the day you will get to a place of freedom and peace, but you do need to take care of yourself. So when you're feeling exhausted, tired, it's okay to take time out and recharge, and switch off. I'm just going to get you one or two, we'll see how many come out, of the door cards to help you as well here. So this one is called Nomad. The nomadic wanderer lies deep inside. So take the leap now. Don't crawl back and hide. And that's what I think this is about. Like I said, there's somewhere that perhaps you no longer are at, but there's comfort in what you know. And I can understand that. But it's asking you to kind of step outside where you're feeling attached to, where you know that it is not actually supportive. And you got this beautiful blue door, the Odyssey. Take in the beauty of country lands and botany. Explore the wonder like a gypsy's traveler's odyssey. Interesting, this is both about travel. So I feel like this is about expanding your horizons right now, Pisces, and doing something a little bit differently. Opening up to possibility, opening up. And if you kind of think like a gypsy traveler, they're kind of like, okay, let's see what life brings. Let's see how I can connect to where I'm going. If we explore it look at it in a different way, how can we see it today? There's this part of free-spirited energy, but of exploration. So while for some of you this may not be directly related to travel, this could be about exploring new avenues, new paths, new journeys, new jobs, new things that you want to learn or study. This is really about getting outside and seeing things maybe a little bit differently than you normally would. I'm just going to say, sometimes we can get stuck in our ways and quite rigid in how something needs to be. And I feel like that's the part about breaking free from that. And it's just the way you look at things. When you change the way you look at things, they change, right? There's like a Wayne Dyer saying around that. When you change the way you look at things, the way that things look change. So there's something about that I feel is very relevant right now in your view and your approach and your perspective on something. If you shifted it up, what can that open? And again, it's getting into alignment of this new exciting part of you, or that part of you that is missing and you want to find. It's not missing, so to speak, within you, but it's missing from where you are right now. And I feel like there's this soul search of wanting to grab hold of it. And sometimes exploring things in a different way or a different view or a different energy or a different space is what can make a massive difference here. So have fun exploring it is what I can say, but I definitely see there's change on the horizon and you understanding yourself more from a more valued and appreciated space as well. I'm going to leave it there, dear friend. Much love. Bye.